I think that there have been some conclusions drawn as to what you gentlemen were going to do that were unwarranted by this side. Perhaps the same is true on this side. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that the answer is not in fighting against each other. The answer is in cooperating with each other. Now, last Wednesday, I approached you gentlemen privately after the meeting and suggested that a hand count was really necessary. And I felt that the suggestion was well received. In fact, I think one of you mentioned that maybe we could have a hand count in addition to the machine count, and then we would know whether the machine was changing the votes. And I felt that you were considering that, and I hope that you are. And I just request that you know before you vote what the right thing is, and that you will vote for the right thing, and that you will uphold your oath of office. I appreciate your position. It's a tough one. And I commend you for the work you do. Thank you.
Is that everyone that wishes to speak? Is there anybody on Zoom that wishes to speak?
Thank you.
What's the comment say?
All right, I'll speak. Here.
Well, I'm Mr. Garrett, this is Henry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Basically, I only have one statement and one question.
State your name, please.
Stephen Garrett, Moriarty, New Mexico, Torrance County. The statement is, when you met with Mr. Ivy Soto behind closed doors, I believe that was a violation of the Open Meetings Act. Second, and this is my question, did the Torrance County Commissioners appoint canvas watchers or observers to the central warehouse to observe the canvassing of the vote? That is it. It's just a simple question.
Thank you.
Do I receive an answer?
Firstly, with Mr. Soto into our executive session, I do not believe that was a violation due to the questions that were asked of him. Secondly, I cannot answer, I do not know the answer to the second question.
Okay, I will submit those to the Secretary of State for answer.
I didn't know there may be somebody here who does.
Does the clerk know?
Thank you very much.
Does the clerk know the answer?
She shook her head no.
Okay.
On the question of
Okay, and the second part of that question is, why not? Why did you not submit appointees to observe the canvass of the vote at the central warehouse?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I would like to at least address what I know about this, and Madam Clerk is welcome to chime in whenever she's able to. From what I understand, Madam Clerk has come up before the Commission to let the public know in public comment that this was going to occur. And at that point, she always welcomes any of the public to come in and be able to watch that process. Also, every political party, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, they're able to register watchers with the clerk's office to be able to watch every single part of the election process. And my understanding is, and I can be corrected by Madam Clerk if I'm wrong, is that nobody signed up as watchers in this election cycle for the primary election. That's my understanding. Now that we have a better view of this, I can tell you that in the general election and going forward, as long as this commission is in place and I'm the county manager, we do intend to have eyes on this part of the process as well. So we will, in the future, have somebody there watching as this is being done.
On the challengers and watchers, Yvonne Taylor, Torrance County Clerk. The party chairs will assign specific people, and then they will send that information to the Secretary of State's office, and then the Secretary of State's office informs me of who are going to be the challengers and watchers at the location. So it's not me that assigns them. Your political parties, you need to contact your Democrat, Republican, and Libertarian Party chairs.
There's also the
and
right
let them.
of the Torrance County Commissioners to submit appointees.
And that was addressed, so thank you for your questions, Mr. Garrett. Is there any more on Zoom since how we started down that road? You'll get your chance.
I'd like to make a comment or two.
And who are you?
James Reeder, I'm a Torrance County resident.
Proceed, James.
Similar to what one of the other gentlemen that's there present said, I'd like you all to think about your legacy that you're gonna leave. You've got some well-known family names on the commission there in the county. Do the right thing. Remember who you're elected by. You're not elected by the Secretary of State. You're elected by the people of Torrance County. You represent us. You're not there to represent the Secretary of State and do their bidding. You're there to represent our wishes, and the people have made their will known. We don't trust these machines, and don't certify them until everything's been verified. The machines are illegal. They're not certified. Do the right thing. Thank you.
Is there any more on Zoom?
My name is Destry Hunt. I'm a resident of Torrance County. And throughout this process, we have tried to be as supportive and collaborative with our elected officials. And some of us have suspected that, well, maybe not everybody is acting in good faith, and others reassure us, no, everybody's acting in good faith. I have knowledge of what they have said and what they're doing. And this moment just cements for the county, if you decide to certify the election, where you stand. And so going forth from this moment, the whole county knows really who they have elected and where you stand and where they stand. And so you put yourself at odds with the people who put you in power. And I would imagine that the people of Torrance County are going to do everything they can legally to retain their peaceful way of life, because this is a very peaceful people. And we all come here. I think it's funny that the sheriff's office were called, and I want to thank the sheriff's office for being so constitutional in their approach to this. They're not dragging people out for using their free speech rights, and I appreciate them. But I think it's interesting that occurred, and see, we're the peaceful ones, and I think that is evident. So, last thing I note, I've also tried very hard to be supportive of our county clerk. We did an inspection of records, and I spoke with her and expressed deep interest in being involved in the election board, and she told me yes, absolutely. And I found out that she impaneled her board, and I went and asked about it. She said, "Oh, I'll make you a standby. Yes, you'd be great. We can maybe use you here, there, whatever." I said, "Yeah, wherever you need me." Didn't get a call, and by law, she's supposed to publish the list of election board members. She didn't. Rondi.
In response to the publication, it was published on the county website because we didn't have a newspaper and it was not running. standby list means if we lose somebody, then I will call them. Nobody called in and didn't, and say that they couldn't be in that day, so that's why nobody that was on the standby list was called. I didn't have anybody drop.
Stephen Ferguson. I would just like to thank you guys for hearing us out. I have a lot of respect for you guys, all three of you. I voted for all of you. I'm sure a lot of folks did. And we know there's something wrong. You guys do too. So please just help us do the right thing and get these things recounted before we certify. Appreciate it.
I'm Rhonda Tully. I'm from the southern end of Torrance County. And I think all the folks that spoke before me were very eloquent. We're not, and James Collins said it right, we're not asking you not to certify. We're asking you to verify everything, hand count, look at your systems. Obviously, there's no faith in the voting system that we have before us. So we're asking you to re-examine the voting systems, do a hand count, compare that, and then follow all the other things that you can do to really know in your hearts that this is a verifiable, transparent election. We're just asking you to hold the line and do what's right. Build our trust up that our vote does count. That's what we're asking. Just hold the line, make sure that we know our vote is counting. We don't trust the systems, and until they think there is a paper ballot hand count, then I don't think anybody can have any trust in the system the way it is right now. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak.
Philip Clark, Torrance County resident. I just pretty much agree with everyone else. The only thing I ask myself is, the Supreme Court sends a letter to Otero County, do this or else. Whether you agree with it or not, what does that mean? We're not represented whatsoever. There's no need for a county commission. There's no need for a school board.
Amen.
The state tells them what to do. So you have the almighty Oz and Santa Fe. Why even have all this? Why not just let them certify the whole election? Why even bother having it county by county? Because it doesn't matter. They tell you to do it, and you gotta do it. You know? That's all I can think is, you might as well just dissolve all the county, all the elected anything. We'll just let the state run everything. You know?
No.
It's like hopeless. But anyways, that's all I have to say. Thanks. I'm ready to recess.
Richard Pickman, Torrance County residents. Gentlemen, I know you guys are in a tough position, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. I can't speak for everybody in here, but I know the good majority of us all voted probably in your favor to be here. We appreciate everything you guys do. I have my 17-year-old daughter here who turns 18. She's also done the stuff class with Rocker Talk and everything like that, and she's learning politics and wanting to be a part of this, and wanting to be a part of the legacy that you guys are putting on. She wants to continue down that path. So I ask that you guys do the right thing and set the right example for those that follow you. You have children. You have nieces, nephews, people that look up to you. We all look up to you guys. Again, you guys have a tough position. As a manager of a company, I understand management has a tough position, just like you guys do. I wish you guys the best of luck in your decision. Thank you.
Does that conclude public comment? So, right now we have a motion and a second for approval on the floor. discussion for this commission. And I would like to start by, I wanna honestly start by thanking the Ness brothers for pointing out some issues that I made, some mistakes I made. You are a peaceful people. You're a very passionate group of people. Sometimes you get behind this desk, you don't know who you're gonna see, how you're gonna handle it. Based on some of the emails I've received, not from any individual I know within this room, but other emails, phone calls. Sometimes you walk in here not knowing what to expect. So I do want to apologize for asking the sheriff's office to come in. At the end of the day, we do have to maintain order, and sometimes it's very hard to figure out how to do that. And ironically enough, also with allowing you to speak, it has brought some order in here. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start by saying that. I also want to say that this commission, and speaking of myself, we have looked at these issues. I have looked at these issues. And I have heard, and it is a strong opinion, that the time and place to fight this battle is by not canvassing this election. I have been presented with some other options, some other avenues, and so essentially with this commission, at this time, we have been listening to these individuals in these groups. And the question at hand is not whether or not we are confident with the voter system. The question is, how do you challenge it? How do you proceed? Where do you pick your battle? How do you fight that battle with the current laws we are in? And that is what we are faced with. Yes, we have to look at canvases. Doesn't mean that's the end of it. Does that mean that I have not prayed for it? That I'm not a spiritual man, as some of the individuals have commented? That does not mean that. It does not mean that it is being ignored. It means that you all have an opinion and you voiced it. And you have potential paths. We, however, are charged with making the decision at hand today. And to pick that battle and what it is. And that decision has yet to be made. And it may change on versus what we talked about in potential paths versus the vote that is cast. But I want to lay that out, that I am listening. And I have not said this is the end of it. But I can't argue with, there is an issue with the system. So how do you fight that? How do you correct that? How do you go about it? And so truly the question is, canvassing this now with the statute we're under, with what is being asked of us, what is being asked of the clerk, what has been done prior to the inspections for these machines, what is the best way to go about it? And that is what this commission has been discussing behind closed doors with legal advice, in multiple legal advice. The fact that Mr. Soto walked into that room when we asked him some questions, is it not pertinent to get all sides? Because I know there was opinions on it. And the questions that were asked him were pertaining to options. He was not directing us. He was not guiding us. He was asked specific questions. Commissioner, do you wish to speak?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, public, for speaking. I did write some notes down, and we took it to heart, or I took it to heart. And I too say we need to take this passion, and I will get behind it with you, and we need to go northbound. You guys got some valid points, but you also got to understand that as I look at the state statute, I can't just pick and choose which ones I want to choose. And I think today, if I had to probably critique any of y'all and any of that, is that you're looking at one set of statutes. And there are another set of statutes that we've got to follow as well. Mr. Attorney, would you please read section 1-13-13?
Certainly, Commissioner. 1-13-13 is describing the duty of the commission in the canvassing process. The canvass is performed by the clerk initially because the clerk is the election official, the local election official that's responsible for making the counts and certifying that the counts are correct. Canvassing is simply that. the votes that were cast that day are canvassed to make sure all of them were counted and listed for the proper candidates. She doesn't have the authority to go behind that process during a canvass, and neither does the commission. That is legally possible, as I said, through a challenge to this election. What this statute says is the county canvassing board shall meet to approve the report of the canvass of the returns and declare the results, and then it gives you a list of the times that you have to do that. The Board of County Commissioners has reviewed all of the legal issues that it has the ability to, under state law, to determine that the count by the clerk was done accurately. The issues that have been raised in Otero County and here in regards to which machines were used, the machines were certified. They're just an older model of machine. Because I'd appreciate, I got to listen to you guys, just bear with me here for a minute. I don't have a dog in this fight, I'm just trying to give the best legal advice I can.
Keep it down.
So, the issues you're raising, there are avenues that those issues can be addressed about what voting machines are going to be used. So the commission will be looking at that.
Mr. Litter?
As you said, we need to look at the statutes as a whole, and 1-13-5 through 1-13-12, I believe, show us the best possible path from these people that have these lobbyists that are coming in here to our chambers that are parading as something that they're not. But these people are the ones that are writing this, and if we don't do the right thing today, we're going to be backed in a corner. If they say no, you can't do that today, what's going to happen when they say no, you can't do that on the next vote? What's going to happen? They're going to tell you they have made you guys to be nothing more than a bunch of clowns. And we know that you have some power because you're represented by us. And they're just going to say, no, you can't. No, you can't. We've written the laws, no, you can't. But if we're going to read 1-13-13, it says they will meet to approve. And then there is a process, 1-13-5 through 1-13-12, on how to address that. And in my opinion, the clerk did not officially count the votes herself. That is nothing against our clerk. We want her to count them. The machine counted our votes, and we have vulnerabilities throughout the country, and it's in this state that use our same system. There was one in Georgia the other day where the candidate that came in third requested a hand recount, and they came back in and won the race. Antrim County, 7,000 votes were switched.
Yeah.
This is a matter of right or wrong and making a stand when we make a stand. We're not asking that these votes not be counted. We are asking that this vote is certifiable. We're running it on illegal machines. We're running it with massive vulnerabilities. CISA, a government organization, cybersecurity organization, releases 9 vulnerabilities. Why did they put you up here? You guys should be insulted that they've made a dog and pony show out of it.
Yeah.
But if they tell you no and you vote no today, there's a line. At some point we have to stand. We want our votes to count. We want our votes to count, and that's it.
This is the hill to die on.
And not be counted wrong.
I'd like to address a few of those.
Yes, sir.
Your votes are being counted.
By a machine.
Counted wrong.
A flawed
Please
machine.
allow, please, you know, guys.
I'm listening.
Go ahead. And we could disenfranchise the voters by not certifying. We could disenfranchise candidates by not certifying. We are stuck between a rock and a hard spot, and I absolutely agree with you. If we have no avenues, pathways to escalate, de-escalate, resolve, whatever you want to call it, then remove us from canvassing this election.
They have. Right now, the Supreme, not right now.
But it is very clear that we have a duty to do with the numbers that we have been given. And we have studied them, I have gone through them. I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, we've got to follow the entire law.
Make them force you.
So you're willing to violate
Please,
your oath
please, you know, guys.
I'm sorry, Ryan, but this is very frustrating. what I'm hearing from you is,
We are too. We are very frustrated.
then you can say no.
That's right.
Say no and make
We
them force
can't
you.
say no. I'm telling you, say no today. Say no!
Make them force you. Say no and make them force
Look
you.
what they're doing to our country.
Mr.
2 years, they
Mr.
shut down all small businesses, let corporations destroy us, and we're just gonna let it keep going on. And I'm not gonna look in my kid's face in 20 years when there's complete socialism going on and say I did nothing.
Excuse me,
Please.
I'm sorry for that, sorry.
your county does not have a large pool of votes. I'm looking at all 33 counties in New Mexico. What your constituents are asking is it's not Herculean. What they're telling you about statutes and language, I'm here telling you, I read the numbers. I'm asking you to read the numbers. It's very simple. You have people here who are willing to go through the ballots and count. And if you all would just step back and read the numbers, I think you might have some questions. This isn't about a book this thick of statutes at this point. It's about numbers and counting. And you certifying is about you as an individual putting your signature to something and stating that you have looked at it and it is true. And if the county clerk says,